went out and got some technical help, built this company first year, summer of 1988. The whole thing was to make an air cooler that looks like an air conditioner. Now, way back in the late 80s, owning an air conditioner was very aspirational. Today, everyone, and his brother or everyone and his servant will have an air conditioner. Way back in the 80s, it was very aspirational. And in those days, you used to have these window air conditioners. You did not even have all these split air conditioners. So we made an air cooler which looked exactly like an air conditioner. And air conditioners at those days used to cost about 35,000 rupees. So for about 4,000 rupees, we created a product which looked like a 30,000 rupee product, and so people who bought it for the aspirational value, for the status symbol. And so it all began very well. First year we had a great start. And we expanded. We started only in Gujarat and Ahmedabad. Then we expanded next year into surrounding area, geographical expansion. By 1990, we had created a pan-India distribution network. We were also on national television. For the first time ever, was a brand for an air cooler ever advertised on national television. That is in 1990. In those days, there was only Doordarshan. There was not all these 1,000 channels and DTH and all of that. So it was very simple. Life was very simple. You took Chitrahar or Mahabharat or something, and then the whole country watched. Today, you need 1,000 spots a day to even be recognized. Life was very simple in those days. So by the summer of 1990, Symphony became a fairly known brand across the country, in its category. And we expanded. By 94 we were off to doing well. 94 we had an IPO. It was a successful IPO. Post our IPO, we actually expanded. We were urged by analysts, investors, people from the capital markets to expand into new products. It said, you're a single product company, you have synergies, you have a brand, you have distribution, you have manufacturing. Why don't you expand into other categories? So we expanded into a whole host of other products. For different reasons, none of those products was a success. So actually, from 95 onwards, it was like we were hitting a wall, and we kept on introducing new products, 95, 96, 97, 98. None of that worked. By 2001 or so, we had completely eroded our net worth. We were, we had to be referred to BIFR, and so in simple words, we were a bankrupt company, by 2001. So 2002, we were referred to the BIFR, and after that, we felt that, the core cooler business was still all right, but it was all the diversifications which was, turning out to be a big drain. So the obvious thing was, let's exit from all the diversifications. So by starting about 2004 or so, we exited from all the products that we had diversified into and refocused back onto the core business of air coolers. So whereas, till 2004 or so, we were looking at multiple products, but just one market, which is India. Post 2004, we refocused onto one product and decided to expand into multiple markets. So once again, multiple products in one market to one product in multiple markets. And that seems to have worked for us. So in the last 10, 11 years, we have steadily been doing better. And like you said, today, in our small category, in this niche category of air coolers, we are the largest players in the world. This product, people think that, does anybody use air coolers outside India? In reality, this is a product which is not an Indian product. It was invented in 1930 by a gentleman in the United States. And so now there are actually manufacturers of air coolers in the US, in Mexico, Brazil, Spain, Australia, all over the Middle East, China, of course, Southeast Asia. So it's a very fragmented industry, many players. There are some large players in the US and in Australia, large in the sense, maybe say $70-80 million sales. But the rest of them it's a very fragmented industry. So within that, I would say, small pond, we are the largest fish. So that's about it.
So to add to it, Achal, what was the dream? What was that spark, that dream, say, I would say dream at several stages, and dream in context to becoming globally the largest or global leader number one. But dream at the stage when you were, say, doing your MBA with real estate finance. Dream at the stage when you said 2001, 2, 3 crisis. And dream at the stage when you are already number one. So, what was there? How did you see it, believe in it, and go forward to it and achieve it?
Okay. All right. So when I was growing up and when I was studying and, all through my academics, I wanted to build buildings. I wanted to be like my father, build buildings, So which is why I studied architecture, did my MBA with real estate finance and all of that. But later on, actually, I found construction a little messy. Going to the site and when you have sand on your shoes, that's the one thing that really ticks me off, and also, like I said, and I was restless. My father's company at that time was already well established so which is why I had to change my dream, and I felt that let me try something, which I can create from scratch and could be more exciting. And of course, it wouldn't have been possible without the support, the encouragement, everything of my father. Like I said, it was he who suggested even the idea, who, sort of planted that thought in my brain. So dreams change. So that became my new dream. And again, there was really, when I started this company of Symphony, there was really no dream to become a big player or anything. We just wanted to do something right, just wanted to, do the best you can. So there are no real goals, we never set out to become the world's largest manufacturer of air cooler or anything. It just happened, you just sort of, what drives me or people within my colleagues within the company is just to do the best you can, and what happens or what doesn't happen is really something which is inconsequential. I think it's really a part of our Jain philosophy. We are really not looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We are really just wanting to do the right things, just sort of, the right actions, and whatever is going to happen will happen.
So continuing to the same question, so if you ask a number 2, number 3 or number 4 player in any segment, he would always have a dream to become number 1. But I do not know what could be the dream of a number 1.
Of a person already at number 1.
Yeah. So what would be your next achievement?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, currently, what gives us the greatest satisfaction is when you go to a new country or you go to a new market, new geography, and you see your product in a store, or when people travel and they come back and say, oh, we saw your product here. And that is really what gives immense, satisfaction or kick or whatever you want to call it. This is an Indian brand, and we don't sell anywhere in any country under any, and we don't sell under anybody's brand. Wherever we have sold under our own brand. We have sold into Walmart in, say, US or in Mexico, or Walmart subsidiaries in Africa, or Carrefour, or, God knows how many, Home Depot, Lowe's. We sell to all of these everywhere under the Symphony brand, And so it's great to see our brand everywhere. Actually, we don't really see Symphony brand when we see it as our brand. We say this is an Indian product, The great pride is in seeing a product from our country in those geographies. Because you see very little other than maybe cotton napkins or, maybe table mats or some shirts. I'm sorry?
The electronics share
Zero, nothing. So the great satisfaction is actually seeing our products. For example, since you mentioned that we were the first company to get a German standard, the GS certificate for exports to Germany from India. The first Indian company ever.
Great, that's fantastic.
So if someday, we are not really beginning to export in a big way to Germany, but if we were to find our product in the Metro, the big chain in Germany, a Symphony, the great satisfaction will be, it's an Indian product over there, not just a Chinese product or some other product. So that's really what gives that satisfaction.
So as you are doing very well in your marketing, Can you tell us something about your marketing strategies? Like, like for example, within 2 years since you started in 1988, by 1990, your presence was known nationally. So, and now that you are entering global, you're already there everywhere. So, how you appoint dealers or distributors? How do you really plan your marketing structure?
I'll say that marketing has been maybe, one of the couple of, I would say, cornerstones of our philosophy. One is, first and foremost, has been product innovation. So our products are, we spend a lot of time in developing products which are different from anything available in the market, whether it's aesthetically, whether it's in terms of performance, whether it's in terms of features. So there is a lot of effort that goes into creating an innovative product. So that is one, I would say, our business, like maybe you can call it a three-legged stool. So one leg is the product design. Second is marketing, and third is distribution. So to answer your question about marketing, in the first year in 1988 when we launched, in fact our first ad was a full-page ad in the Times of India in Ahmedabad. The cost of that ad was more than the total value of inventory that I had to sell.
Okay.
Okay, but so we said, "Chalo, let's do it." But the impact that it created was such that whatever we could produce that whole summer was sold out.
Wonderful. So for a startup or a new company, there's no limit on the amount that should be spent on advertisement, or is there?
No.
Or at this stage, I think what could be probably a percentage of amount on your sales that you'd keep for your only marketing?
Actually, it's not a percentage. આપણે બધા વાણિયા છીએ. Ultimately, આ પૈસા કેટલી વારમાં પાછા આવશે? So when we decided to spend that 1 lakh or whatever, 1.5 lakhs on that full-page ad, the simple calculation was how many do I have to sell to recover that money? Forget the percentages. Okay. In the consequent years, 89, 90, every year our marketing budget was more than the previous year's sales.
Okay.
So in the initial years, but that gave us the momentum, that gave us the growth. So in the initial years, like from 89 to 90, from 89 to 90, we grew at 600-700%. But why? Because the base was small, but because of advertising, because of marketing, and of course we created the distribution. So the thing is that this is also something which creates a barrier. It's Warren Buffett talks about the moat. He talks about the moat. Himanshu Bhai is here from the capital markets. He will agree with me that Warren Buffett talks about the moat. What is a moat? Like a fort has that moat around which enemies can't cross. So it's a barrier. It's a competitive advantage that you create around your business. So a brand is one such competitive advantage that you create around your business. The ability to innovate is another competitive advantage. Distribution is another competitive advantage. So there are various competitive advantages that you make, but a brand, for example, what is Coca-Cola at the end of the day? It is sugar water. You put that same water in another plastic bottle, you will not realize it's Coke. Okay, but it's a brand. That's something which it triggers a certain emotion, it triggers a certain value in the mind. So I think the brand is a great tool. If you can create a brand, it gives you a great competitive advantage. I hope I've answered your question.
Perfectly.
So in the journey, of course, you said that you started 88 and this advertising fast growth 600-700%, and then came in a lot of products, national, and of course there were issues. So company has passed through the phases, and generally very important for the young businessmen and the students. We have some students, I can see quite a bit. There's a learning, there's an understanding that a person becomes successful. People see him when he is there at the top, successful, but people do not try to see his personal journey to reach that. So in this journey, the corporation won, but the personal struggles, difficulty, and still, you might have fallen down so many times, but every time you fall down, you say that, there is one more time I have to get up. So a successful person, you know, he gets up one more time. That's the only. So what were the struggles and how you were ready in your mind and every which way to again keep running and growing? And so if you can give some flavor of the journey, personal struggle, and still making it there and not giving it up even at the difficult times.
I don't know where to begin, because in terms of struggles, there were a million struggles,
Right.
like that V.S. Naipaul book, million mutinies. Really, we had a million struggles. So I really wouldn't even know where to begin. But, I would say one big challenge would be, was